I was 8, going on 9 when my mother died. She died of a really long illness. She died of leukemia for 5 years. She had it. To me, it was a huge shock because being the youngest, being almost 9, I wasn't privy to a lot of the information that everyone knew, what was going on. Like my older brothers knew, but I didn't, unfortunately. So to me, it was quite a shock. I knew she was ill, but I didn't expect her to die. And I know she wasn't ready to die, and that was, the horrible part as well. And no one is, but she was only 39 when she died. So it's an age that I'm now close to, which is a weird experience, but you realise how young it actually is, and with 3 small children. Before she died, she got in contact with Stokes, founder of Winston's Wish. We had people come round from Winston's Wish with, I think it was fruit gems or something like that. They gave us sweets, basically. They explained what Winston's Wish was, and they explained that, first of all, we go on a camp, and you're with all these other children, and you wear a little badge that's got a bear on it with a coloured balloon, and each balloon represented who died. So you didn't have to ask, and it was just a very sort of open experience, considering being a 9-year-old at school. No one in my school had experienced that. Other children don't understand it either. I was called crybaby and things like that, and it was really, really hard. So going to a place where there's children of all ages, it just makes you feel not alone. You didn't have to say anything or speak about it, but at the same time, people were so open about it. And like these children talking like grown-ups. And I think Winston's Wish laid that foundation. I've done other stuff and other therapies and things like that, but Winston's Wish laid that foundation that whatever you're feeling is pretty much normal. You feel guilty, you feel hurt, you feel angry, which is, as a child, is a very confusing thing to feel when your mum's died. And I think that's why Winston's Wish for me I always have like such a huge soft spot for. They told my grandmother and my dad how to tell us how she died. And it was my grand's task to tell me, and my dad's task to tell my brothers. And so I remember that I got some sweets, and I wasn't allowed sweets on I think it was a Tuesday. So I knew something was up, and I knew something was up all day. So when I came back, she bought me sweets. I was like, okay, it's still not right. And her hospital bed was packed up, and I said, has Mum gone back to hospital? Because that was like a thing. We would go to hospital, see my mum all the time, and it was more of this is normal. This is what normal is. My mum's sick, she goes to hospital a lot. And my grandma's like, no, she's died. And sorry. For her to have her daughter die that very day, and to tell her granddaughter that with such strength, and I say bluntness, at the time I thought it was bluntness, but I know with Winston's Wish philosophy is to talk to them as an adult. You gotta say what it is, and be open with them, and instead of they've passed on and things like that. And you completely understand why people say these things, because they're hurting too, and they don't want to hurt the child. But yeah, she said, no, she's died. So I knew Winston's Wish did that, on how to tell us. Again, something that happened afterwards, which again Winston's Wish explain is completely normal. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach, but I then said to her, can I go and play on my roller skates? And she looked at me really confused. And went, yeah, I just told her mum's died and she's gone out to play on roller skates. And for years, again, I was beating myself up for it. And I was like, how can I be so... I was just like, why am I not crying? And I didn't cry when my mum died. So again, now I understand, because because I follow Winston's Wish stuff and anything on social media, and I know that it's perfectly normal of a child, especially of that age, to carry on normal tasks, as if nothing had happened, but they are processing it. And because I either read stories from Winston Swish, or when they release certain sort of little bit of knowledge bites, and I'm like, oh, that was me. And I don't know, it sits with you that, like, okay, this is normal. And that's what Winston Swish did, was like, whatever you're feeling is usually normal. And I think the one thing, it was leading up to her death, I wasn't told enough. And that's one thing that I've learned, and one thing that Winston Swish does teach people, is that children know a lot more than you think. You've got to speak to them more as an adult and give them the benefit of the doubt that they'll understand what you're saying to them. Like I say, for me, that was one of the most important things I took away from Winston Swish, is that communication with the child. I then began volunteering for them in my early 20s to try and give something back. I could never, thank them or repay them for what they provided us. But yeah, I volunteered for them, just this like collection thing, like you stand with a bucket or you stand at a stand. And Julie came out, she was in the office and she came out to see me because I just quickly mentioned like, oh, I came here as a little girl. And she came out, she remembered me and my brothers. And I was just like, oh my God, like, she's like, how's your brothers? And that for me was just like, wow, this is someone who actually genuinely cares about these children and about these families. I just have such fond memories of Julie, and knowing that she spoke to my mum, and knowing that she helped my mum and assured her that she'll try and help us. You realise how important it is to keep these charities going, because, and I can speak for a lot of people, how much it means to all of us, because I'm proof that it's, you do get past it, you learn to live around grief, and you learn to just move on, and you'll always love that person and always care for them, and Winston Swish will teach you the foundations for that. And I say this to my partner all the time, I honestly don't know if I would be different now. It impacted me that much that I don't know who I'd be or what I would be doing now if it wasn't for having that help so early on.